everyone. So I'm answering a couple of the questions that I got yesterday for, I don't know, Tutoring Tuesday. Let's call it Tidbit Tuesday. So one of them was, why is a rooster called a cock? Well, either term is okay to use. You can use rooster or cock. A cockerel is actually a juvenile male chicken. So the short form, cock, refers to a chicken that is male and is over a year old. And then I also seen that sometimes it's referred to as a rooster only when they are with hens. Either term is appropriate so long as you're referring to a bird that's over a year old. If it is a juvenile and under a year old, refer to it as a cockerel. If it is a male chicken. So, why are roosters referred to as cocks? Well, because they are. But you can also call them a rooster if you would rather. Let's see how dramatic he gets when I come back. The other question that I had received was, do you have any suggestions on what would stop my chickens from pecking their eggs? Well, some tips that I have used is actually using either a golf ball, which is a pretty cheap solution. Most people have golf balls around. Or you can get these really cute wooden eggs from Amazon. I suggest, though, if you get these wooden eggs, that you color them or paint them, because you're going to end up gathering them and putting them in your egg basket thinking that they're eggs at first, especially if you're like gathering at night. That guy's really not happy that I was holding him for the first part of the video. He's being dramatic, sorry. So yeah, you can use these little wooden eggs or golf ball. Or the other option is to use a rock. I don't highly recommend that one because a rock is super hard, right? And it won't roll around and roll out of the way like these will. And when a hen is squatting to have her egg, she may actually put her egg hard on top of that rock and you'll get cracked eggs. That's why it's also important to keep a little bit of bedding or cushion in your nesting boxes, because when those eggs drop from the hen squatting, they can crack. Another thing that's really nice with these wooden eggs, I actually had a cat a couple years ago that would eat eggs, and she was eating up to like a dozen a day or more, 2 dozen at times. And one way that we could tell that it was actually a cat was these wooden eggs. So as I was saying to the question for how to stop your chickens from pecking the eggs, I suggested using a wooden egg or a golf ball. And then I was just saying how I actually had a cat eating up to 1 to 2 dozen eggs a day. And with the wooden eggs, it was really nice because she was actually biting into them. And that was my way of seeing her teeth marks. And I could really tell that it was like a small predator and not my chickens to blame for eating the eggs. A serious thing, though, that you'll have to question. So I rehomed that cat, by the way. So she went to another lovely farm. So one thing that you'll have to think about too, if you know your hens are pecking the eggs and eating the eggs, you can take into consideration the fact that maybe they need a little bit extra to their diet. Chickens love meat, actually. So if you have some old ground beef or really anything other than chicken, don't feed your chickens chicken. But if you have any kind of red meat, they will devour it and love it. And that might actually satisfy their dietary needs a little bit so that they're not going to their eggs to eat them. If that doesn't help, you will have to really consider that maybe you've got one bad egg in your flock and she has to go. So if you catch one of your hens eating eggs and you've tried like putting in decoy eggs and using the golf balls and using other methods, maybe changing their diet to try and prevent them from eating eggs, and you still have hens that are eating them, she's just learned that they're a delicious meal too. And unfortunately, she may teach others that that is a meal to have. And so I suggest culling them. I do that. Here, there's no reason for them to eat their eggs. So if I catch something eating its eggs, I get rid of it. It's just got to be done sometimes. So those are my suggestions in stopping hens from pecking their eggs.